Good evening, my darling batlings. So happy to be here with you once again after having to unceremoniously cancel things at the last minute last night. New thing I'm gonna try doing is like reading through what all was in the chat during the pre-stream bit and see what all I've missed. All right, let's see. We've got from Kier, I'm here. Glad to have you here. I hope your throat feels better. Ethereal Curse says, okay, it's game time. Indeed, it is indeed game time. It is time for the game. Femboy Ahoy says, remake these nuts. I don't think I have anything that I can add to that. Kier VTuber said, yes, indeed, we will be doing some snooping as usual, I see, tonight. Kier says, I'm loving the music. I believe when you sent that message, the song that was playing was the Flutter versus the Gesellschaft from Mega Man Legends. Kier also says, almost got me with the Discord sound alert. Didn't get me this time. Cobalt Rogue says, hoi, glad to have you here, my dude. Haven't seen you here in a while, but I figured you would be the one to tune in for a Resident Evil stream. So, I'm joined tonight by Miles Above, and I'm also, hopefully later, going to be joined as well by, JKR. I don't know why his name slipped my mind for a second there.
Who knows? It's you.
Yeah, it is me. I have had quite a day. My box spring for my bed broke shortly after I got my bed, and I just got it replaced this morning. Thankfully, it was still under warranty, so I didn't have to pay anything.
Thank gosh.
Yeah. Like, when I say the box spring broke, I mean, like, it had a wooden frame to it, and the frame just, like, snapped and then ripped through the bottom of it.
What the heck? Talk about defective as heck, man.
Yeah. But hey, if you're ever in the Burlington area, I can give my stamp of endorsement to Dave's Discount Furniture for their excellent customer support. Femboy says, I just got Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4 plus 4 aka Village. I've been on a Resident Evil high. I've been on a Resident Evil high recently, too. That's why I figured I'd do 4 Remake. I've technically got 3 copies of it now.
Seriously?
Across different platforms. PC version's got some performance issues that still haven't been ironed out.
Issues on PC games.
So, and I just happened to get my hands on a PS5 recently, so that's the version we'll be playing.
Yay, PS5. You've joined us.
Yeah, I also had the Xbox Series version on my Series S, but that one has some performance and graphical issues, because it is really poorly optimized on Xbox.
A lot of games these days are just terribly optimized in general.
Yeah, there were some optimization issues at launch that have been overall ironed out, but like, for example, when I talk about, like, graphical issues on Xbox, I mean, like, Unreal Engine 3 style texture pop-in, where it takes, like, 3 to 5 seconds for textures to load.
Wait, what?
So, like, you'll be in an environment, and the textures haven't loaded in yet, so everything looks like it's made out of clay.
Sheesh.
You love how weighted, the game feels in your hands with the controller. Yeah, the DualSense is a really good controller just because it feels beefy. Like, I could take or leave all the extraneous tech in it that I can guarantee most developers aren't going to use, as is usual for PlayStation controllers. But, like, this is a controller that feels substantial. And I haven't had that feeling in a long time.
Yeah. The other like PS4 controller felt really like light to me.
Yeah, and PS4 controllers were like notorious for getting stick drift really quick. Speaking of which, JKR's here. Just go ahead and join the group call, my dude, when you are able to do so.
Gotta love ramen.
And there was something I saw. PS Showcase is trending, and one of the big rumors is Metal Gear Solid 3 PS5 remake to be revealed from last night. Oh, that would be nice. Just anything Metal Gear new that's not Metal Gear Survive or another pachinko game. I would be very much in favor of this. Especially since Metal Gear Solid 3 is only available through used sales right now. It's not available digitally anymore.
Yeah, that seems to be happening with a lot of games these days.
Well, it happened with Metal Gear in particular, with all the old Metal Gears in particular, because of the licenses for the real-life stock footage used for certain cutscenes expiring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Also, welcome, JKR.
Thank you. Just finished one of the last pieces of homework I have for class. I'm just gonna get started on the final piece tomorrow because I am too tired to finish that.
Take a break. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Mauschly has no ballistics. I mean, mods can fix that. With that being said, this has been a unusually long opening ramble, so let's switch over to the game screen. Yes, one complaint I have about the PS5 home screen is that unlike the PS4, there's no way to like list all the games you have installed all at once just on this menu. It's limited to the most recent, I think like 9 that you have.
Hey, look, new gameplay revealed.
Yeah, I got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot on here too, because it looks and performs better on here than it does on whoops, OBS crashed.
Oh, okay, never mind.
We were muted. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it set us back to mute. I didn't mute us back. Yes. Thanks for the thanks for the heads. Yeah, OBS is drunk. Did the crash break the audio setting? I think it just defaulted back to what it was last time I booted up OBS.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So yeah, I have Crash Insane Trilogy and Crash 4 on here, and Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, but I don't play that very much. So yeah.
I don't know what's going on with freaking Discord's share screen. It's saying Arikado has minimized their application. Sit tight. Seriously, what the fuck?
It says that for you. Mine's good.
That's weird. I'm gonna pop out and pop back in. I'll save that Oh,
That's what I had
there it
to
goes.
do.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
there we go.
I don't know what happened.
Is it good
It
now?
happens. Yep.
It's good.
Okay. All right. Might have to tinker around with some audio settings as I usually do, because this game is very loud. This is also a weird case where a game offers both a frame rate and performance mode, but rather than one being 60 FPS and one being 30 FPS, they're both 60.
Huh.
So, like, there's no reason to use performance mode.
It just doesn't even exist at this point.
One thing that I really like, though, is that they have a lot of accessibility options. Like, I tend to get motion sick from certain kinds of graphical effects in a lot of modern games. And there's an accessibility setting just for motion sickness, which enables and disables settings that could potentially make you motion sick. So, bravo to Capcom. They should backport that to the rest of their games.
That's freaking Capcom.
Resident Evil Village especially could use that, because it has some really bad motion blur that you can't turn off. Or at least in the console version, you can't turn it off.
Oh. I heard a boop.
You heard a boop?
Yes.
What kind of boop? A Betty boop? Boop, boop,
Person
doop?
leaving boop.
Would motion blur be a part of that setting? Yeah, motion blur is part of that. It turns off the motion blur.
Also, I hear myself. Like in an echo.
Yeah, I hear. I don't know what
Hold
the
on.
fuck. I tried to fix it on my.
I see. I'm sharing the wrong window. That's the problem.
Ooh.
Good thing we noticed it.
Okay, so we got like a fucking Drost effect of Discord screens here. Let me fix that.
Oh yeah.
At least now we don't hear ourselves.
Now here we go. Sorry, Arikado.
I mean, I wouldn't have noticed if you guys didn't tell me.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I feel bad because I'm like, oh yeah, it's good, and then of course it's not good, and I'm like, shit, how do I tell him I screwed up?
I've also got I also bought the casual costume pack just for e-girl Ashley. I know this is like 2004 hot topic, but nowadays it's more like e-girl aesthetic.
I can see what you're saying.
Also, to the people saying that she doesn't have ballistics, I don't know what you're talking about. I see 2 ballistics right there.
Oh god.
It's just that her sweater's not as form-fitting as it was in the original.
Yeah, they're trying to be protective.
Well, they tried to be more serious with this remake instead of the openly self-aware campy nature of the original.
Yeah.
But thankfully, and very much the opposite of what I was figuring they would do, they still keep in it's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not.
Not.
Oh, hi, Mark. Also, perfect timing to say this in a scene when a woman's being sacrificed by a cult.
She
I mean, hey,
volunteered
at
as
least
tribute.
kept this.
No,
At least
not
kept
really. Ugh.
Alternate universe where Katniss Everdeen dies.
I guess you could say the cult really helped her get ahead in life.
Not anymore. She should have quit while she was ahead.
She wasn't ahead in the game, that's for sure.
That night, Raccoon City was
Too many head jokes, man.
Hey, I hear she gives excellent head. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Bob.
I was asked by her to join a top secret government program.
My favorite costume for Leon is villain. Yeah, that's my favorite too. Leon doesn't really have that many good DLC costumes, but at least they kept the gangster costume
Mind off everything.
as an unlockable.
Leon's
Yeah, this
forced
is-
to join the government.
this is actually something that was canon to the original Resident Evil 4, but was never stated in-game. So, like, a lot of stuff that was in supplementary material before is now actually part of the in-game story.
They actually made it make sense for once.
Like, the reason he was forced to join was because, like, it was basically like, you remember Sherry from Resident Evil 2?
Yep.
It was basically like, hey, we know that you care a lot about this little Sherry girl, right? It would be terrible if something were to happen to her if you didn't join our secret government agency.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
Best way to put it right there.
I also like how they actually give some in-game backstory to Krauser instead of him just kind of being there and being stated to be like Leon's former ally, but not really going beyond that. Like, he had a backstory, but it wasn't in the game. But now it is.
I'm sure you'll do your best to help me.
Yeah. That's totally not a sketchy area to be in.
I also like how the time of day that this game starts at is different than the original. In the original, it was like broad daylight.
It was brighter. Yeah, it was brighter.
It was broad daylight, like early morning probably, whereas here it's really late at night.
I think that makes the aesthetics a little bit better.
Turn up the game audio a bit? Okay. Part of why it might seem quiet is because I've got it set to automatically lower as I speak.
Guys, we're in the Children of the Corn right now. Run.
There we go. That should be better. No need to apply a ducking compressor when it's already set to -25. Children of the Corn is a good movie. I've still never seen Children of the Corn. I also have... I've got a DVD copy of Dawn of the Dead, but I've still never watched it.
Why did it look like that cop had like a really bad limp? He looked like he just got kicked in the freaking balls and was like walking off, man.
I mean, it's uneven terrain.
That ain't true.
You better go and take a look.
I love how this guy's just like, go check it out while I stay here, and you can.
Yeah, that's how it was in the original too. It's like, aren't you coming? Nah, we'll stay here. We don't want to get the parking ticket line was in the original too.
You don't want to get a parking ticket. Ends up getting worse than a parking ticket.
Yeah.
At least maybe. I don't want to ruin things for people.
So, the original was split into, like, sub-chapters. You had, like, Chapter 1-1, Chapter 1-2, that kind of stuff. The remake just does a more traditional Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, that so on and so forth.
Makes sense.
There's also... This whole opening sequence has a lot more area to explore, whereas in the original, it just stopped you right outside the cabin.
I mean, a lot of traditional, like, you know, more recent Resident Evils have that sort of thing. Even, like, I think even 2 and 3 remakes had a little bit more.
3 actually took a lot of stuff out, and this game does take out some... This remake does take out some sequences, but it replaces them with new ones.
I know 2 had at least a lot of, like, more freedom in some sort of sense.
Well, 2, they took what was, like, you know, big for a PS1 game and made it bigger.
Yeah.
Like, I feel 2 Remake is still, like, the top tier of the Resident Evil remakes. 4 would be in a close second.
3's definitely probably not in the top.
Three is the weakest so far, just because like you can tell it was made on a more rush production schedule. Like the Resident Evil 2 remake, the reason it turned out so good was because it had been in development since 2015.
Yeah.
So
wait, speaking of 3,
yeah.
they have that new movie potentially coming out, and they're using the Resident Evil 3 remake Jill Valentine.
You say potentially coming out. We know it's
It is
coming
coming
out.
My brain just forgets things. Okay?
Yeah, it's set after the events. It's, if I remember correctly, it's set in between 6 and 7. But it uses the modern designs of the characters, so Jill actually looks younger than she did in 5.
Well, I think there was like an excuse like that had to do with
Like they did, that excuse was actually part of the canon already. It's just that it wasn't stated in like the actual description of Resident Evil 5 that explained why she still looked young and why she suddenly had blonde hair. Except, yeah, Death Island, yeah.
Hey, Pony. Nice to see you here.
Pony, hello. I've only ever seen Resident Evil 7 and 8. Well, you're in for a ride. I've gotten decently far in Resident Evil 4 Remake. And 4's like, the original 4 was already considered like one of the best games in the series. So it had a lot to live up to. That's what made me hesitant going into it. I also like going to stuff that they change presentation and story-wise that I actually like here. I like that he actually speaks Spanish to the guy in the lodge instead of speaking to a Spanish-speaking person in English and expecting him to understand.
Speak at the normal language, okay?
Leon, I think you miscommunicated in Spanish if he's attacking you like that.
I mean, he did just break into his house.
I mean, that is also true.
You need to ask him a question. That's the kind of pun I can get behind. I always love ask you a question puns.
It's really funny
Pony's
that
actually what. Go ahead, Miles. Sorry.
I was gonna say in general about Resident Evil 4 how it like knowingly created freaking Devil May Cry.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite development stories is that the original Resident Evil 4 had such a troubled development and went through so many revisions that the earliest attempt at it ended up becoming the first Devil May Cry.
But yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This whole sequence this whole thing of like Leon carrying the flashlight with him in dark areas is also a callback to another canceled build of the original Resident Evil 4 that was more Silent Hill inspired, where he would always be armed with a flashlight and his gun.
Huh.
Ah, good. You speak the global language, English.
Honestly, Pony, I think you should. Just go ahead and tell the joke.
What's your situation?
The werewolf joke? I would love to hear the werewolf joke.
Yeah, Pony is one of my D&D friends.
Ah, okay. I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way after eating Taco Bell.
Bruh,
I fucking ruined the delivery of that joke. That was terrible. I apologize.
Yeah, you did.
What'd the werewolf eat after getting his teeth cleaned? What? Ah, this is a new thing they added, is sometimes when you think you've killed a Ganado, they come back to life and do that.
The dentist.
The dentist.
I mean, that kind of hits close to home because my dad was a dentist, so... That kind of hits too close to home.
I mean,
My
if
stepmom
we-
was a dental assistant. Does that
Wait,
count?
what?
My stepmom was a dental assistant before she became a realtor. Does that count?
Yes.
I mean, really depends on the dentist. I mean, if it's that that dentist from Little Shop of Horrors, then by all means, eat him up.
It also depends on which Little Shop of Horrors we're talking about. The original Roger Corman version or the musical?
I only know one version. That's the musical. Well, actually, it's
Technically, there's 3 versions because there's the Broadway musical, but then there's the movie adaptation of the musical that actually changes some plot details, including changing the ending entirely.
yeah, the movie adaptation is what I'm familiar with.
I've seen the original Roger Corman version, and yes,
Scooby Snack.
Scooby
I mean,
Snack.
Chad, sorry.
So I've seen the original Roger Corman version, and I've seen the musical version because a local college put it on a few years ago. But I've never seen the movie version, but I do know that the studio was like, hey, the play's got too much of a downer ending, so you've got to give it a happy ending. Because, like, the original ending, and they actually shot the original ending, but it's very poorly preserved, so you can only find it in, like, super low quality.
Really?
Even on official releases. Had, like, everyone, all the main cast getting eaten by Audrey 2, and then Audrey 2, like, conquering the world.
Bruce, this is
Yeesh.
Hunnigan here. What's your sit rep?
President's daughter, Baby Eagle. She's in this village.
I do like how Hunnigan has a bigger presence in this game. In the original, she just kind of disappeared at about the halfway mark.
Copy that. I'll
I mean, I'm surprised they even kept her as a character because, like,
He has to have a mission control to report back to.
true. I mean, Resident Evil 6, I was surprised that Hunnigan was in there too, even though, you know, it was kind of obvious it might happen, but I never thought it was going to be like a reoccurring character thing.
See, I haven't played 6 yet, but I kind of know how it plays out story-wise. Fine, I'll hydrate. Yes, and the redeems are working this time. So go ahead and spend those points, but boys and girls.
You better not
And
let me
everyone in
spend
between.
points. You don't want me spending points, my friend. I got too many.
Yes,
I mean,
I
some-
know, and I know exactly what you would spend them on because you're evil, and you enjoy watching me in pain.
I mean, the good laugh for everybody, including yourself. Let's be real.
I mean, I've probably got more points than you do, Miles, and I don't go around spending them on things to torture our Lord and Savior.
I mean, I just do it to everyone. It's not just him. If you knew what I have seen, you will understand.
I was gonna quote Blade Runner, but I can't remember how that whole speech goes. Something about like the light shining through Tannhauser Gate. And the whole Roy Batty speech from Blade Runner, one of my favorite movies. They added storage, so you don't have to just sell items you don't have space for anymore.
Well, that's good. They actually kept storage.
What'd that barrel do to me?
Everything.
It was in my way. It was in my way.
It reset your freaking OBS.
Yes, blame the barrel.
The barrel's
blame the barrel.
it's the barrel's fault that OBS crashed at the beginning of the stream.
Barrel's evil.
We're going fucking old school PewDiePie here and making barrels my arch enemy.
What are you gonna have next? A little statue friend you're gonna name after something silly?
Oh, I never really watched PewDiePie.
He had a statue in Amnesia he named Stefano.
Okay, serious bit of clickbait that shows like how shitty a lot of game journalists are. They saw this dog dead here with the bear trap and were like, hey, we just found out that in the latest preview of Resident Evil 4 Remake, you can't save the dog like you could in the original. That's a lie. They just moved the dog later. Like, the dog just shows up in a later chapter where you save him. That's a different dog entirely. It's just a piece of set decoration.
Resident Evil 4 remake run should be a run where all you do is break barrels.
Where's Leon?
Revenge.
Where's Leon's sexy ass voice at? I mean, Capcom's doing a lot of recastings now. It's not just with Resident Evil anymore, where they're recasting everybody. Street Fighter 6 recasted a lot of people too.
Wait, really?
Yeah, this is gonna be the first time. I can't remember everyone who was recasted off the top of my head, because I'm not a big Street Fighter guy. But this is gonna be the first time since Street Fighter 4 that Ruben Langdon hasn't voiced Ken.
Jeez, are they just trying to update just for the new fans, or?
I mean, these are supposed to be like, but I didn't spin. These are supposed to be like different aged versions of the characters. So it makes sense that their voices would sound different. Also, apparently it's just like, you know, trying to freshen things up a bit after Street Fighter V generally failed to impress.
I mean, yeah, because it was Street Fighter.
The bear traps are actually really well hidden here. As opposed to always being out in the open like they were in the original. Totally didn't look at Discord. I don't know what you're talking about.
My goodness, my friend.
Okay, so you can... The knife has a durability meter now instead of being unbreakable like it was in the original. But you can also use it to parry weapons now.
Really?
Yeah, I just did it a couple seconds ago.
I was off the screen temporarily because I got a message from somebody, and I was like telling them to not message me for a moment.
Hey, Pony. What can I say except you're welcome?
I was about to say, don't say that ever.
What can I say except delete this?
Do it. I dare you guys to delete the VOD.
I mean, Twitch is gonna do that after 14 days.
Right?
Twitch just does it for you. Who needs anything when you can have Twitch do it for you?
You're conflicted on the knife durability? Then there's your incentive. You know those clockwork Ramon Salazars you can find throughout the game?
Yeah.
Like, basically this game's equivalent of the Goats of Warding or the Mr. Everywhere statues or the Raccoon statues. If you break all of them, you get the original Resident Evil 4 knife, which has infinite durability.
Really?
Yeah. And they're a lot easier to find now than the statues in previous games because they make a sound to indicate that they're close by. As opposed to just kind of having to, you know, look up a guide. Oh, and you can do stealth kills now.
Oh, stealth kills are fun.
Which is actually really helpful for a lot of sections.
I bet.
They also made this opening village attack sequence a lot longer. So it's way more harrowing in my opinion.
I saw a few clips of it back, like, when I first started, like, getting interest in the game, but I didn't get it. Because, like, while I was interested in it, I wasn't, like, that interested to the point where I'd want to buy it.
Yeah?
Because, you know, I'm not very big, like, I'm good at, like, some Resident Evil games, but, like, other ones I just scream at 24/7 because it's just frustrating me. So that's why I haven't bought the new ones.
Fair enough. I was talking earlier about how the Xbox version has some performance issues, and up until the most recent patch, one of those issues was that it had like ridiculously big dead zones for the analog sticks that you could not adjust.
Really?
Yeah. So it took like a lot more stick movement in order to actually, you know, aim and everything, whereas on the PS5 and I think on PC, it's a lot more precise. Okay, I planned on doing this on the PC version with a mod for Dr. Salvador, the Chainsaw Man there, where it gives him googly eyes. But
eyes, yes.
PC version's been giving me nothing but problems, so had to scrap that plan. And I forgot to board up one of those windows, so a lot more enemies are going to be coming through here than I'm used to. Fun.
Oh, that will be fun.
Let them come.
Let the death commence.
Or would you rather let the slaughter begin?
I'd rather let the bodies hit the floor.
Bodies hit the floor, yes.
Okay, my knife's broken. Great.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, don't you love when that happens?
You can get it repaired, thankfully. But you can't do that until Chapter 2. I blinked. What happened? Oh, I got chainsawed. Yeah, this segment's a lot harder now than, This segment's a lot harder than it is in the original.
You are dead. Not big surprise.
Guess what? What? Chicken butt?
Cat dog?
I'm actually Facebook friends with the creator of Cat Dog.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
think you
nice
told me that
guy.
A long time ago.
I'm also Facebook friends with the creator of Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Nice.
And the creator of Johnny Bravo.
I miss Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo actually did have a comeback in the 2000s, but only in India, funnily enough. They made a direct-to-Cartoon Network India Johnny Bravo special called Johnny Bravo Goes to Bollywood.
Oh my lord.
And it's basically just like a big satire of like late 2000s pop culture. Like Twilight, Avatar, that kind of stuff. And it was exclusive to India because apparently somehow, for some reason, but at the same time it's somehow not surprising, Johnny Bravo is super popular in India.
Yeah, it's not really that surprising though.
I don't know why it's not surprising, but it isn't.
I mean, Johnny Bravo was like the stereotypical, like... I don't want to finish that sentence. But yeah.
You don't want to get me. You don't want to get me put in the no prison for. You don't want to get me put in gay baby jail for saying the S word.
I just don't want to get you in trouble in general. But no, it was a stereotype.
Do I think they'll ever
sort.
find Meso Blues? Van Partible has a copy of Meso Blues, to my understanding. The thing is, he just doesn't want to. He goes back and forth on whether he wants to release it or not, because it's like really early work that he's kind of split on. You can find clips of it in a Johnny Bravo documentary, which shows that a copy is out there. It's just that it's not available to the public. But I'm hoping that eventually gets released someday, just like how Maxwell Adams, after years of hyping it up, finally released his student film precursor to Billy and Mandy, Trepanation of the Skull and You. Even though hot take, Trepanation of the Skull and You ended up being a lot more disappointing than he built it up to be.
Really?
Because, like, if you listen to how Maxwell Adams described the Billy and Mandy student film in interviews, he would say it's about, like, Billy drilling into his head to release his inner demons. But then the student film finally gets digitized and released publicly. It turns out it's actually just like a parody of 1950s educational films.
Oh my goodness.
Where it's talking about the benefits of trepanation. Which is when you drill a hole in your skull to allow blood to flow more freely. Or at least that's the idea. You're really into lost media? Dude, so am I. I browse the Lost Media Wiki all the time just to see, like, what kind of stuff's currently being searched for and what kind of stuff's been found. Like, one of my holy grails of Lost Media ended up being discovered recently, and I think it's now available to the public courtesy of Discotheque Media. They found the long-lost English dub of 1001 Nights by Osamu Tezuka. Like, one of the earliest anime dubs of a feature film. Where it ran, like, it was that, and they didn't find there's still no proof that there was an English dub for Cleopatra, but Discotheque was able to find the audio for the English dub of 1001 Nights, and put that out on their recent Blu-ray release. Because, like, that's not just a piece of anime history, it's also a piece of adult animation history. Because Cleopatra, 1001 Nights, and one more movie called The Belladonna of Sadness were part of a trilogy of anime films that Tezuka, who you might know more for Kimba the White Lion and Astro Boy.
Yeah, Astro Boy.
They were, like, very late works of his that were, like, him trying to prove, hey, anime's not just for kids. We can make anime for adults, too. And you would think that would mean, like, you know, just sex and nudity. But, like, it was really experimental stuff. Like, lots of trippy animation sequences.
Believable.
Aren't they working on Finding Slamfest? A lot of people are working on Finding Slamfest. There's also, like, an interesting thing with browsing the Lost Media Wiki is finding stuff that is considered lost media that you didn't know was lost in the first place. Like, one of them that's currently being searched for is the alternate endings to the SpongeBob episode Shanghai, where when it originally aired, it was aired as the You Wish special, and viewers could, like, call in on a toll-free number to vote for who they wanted to get the wish at the end, and they animated 3 separate endings for each of the characters and aired all 3 of them only on the first broadcast. And apparently the other 2 endings are considered partly lost, at least their English versions are.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, the canon ending where SpongeBob gets the wish has been a part of every subsequent rebroadcast of the episode. But the alternate endings where Patrick and Squidward get wishes have not been rebroadcast since. And, like, one that was a big thing for a while that was lost media, where even Nickelodeon themselves didn't have a copy for the longest time, was the infamous Nickelodeon horror movie Crybaby Lane.
That's weird.
Like, literally the only reason that's available now and the only reason it got a rebroadcast decades later was because someone happened to record the one time it aired on TV back in, like, 99. Like, even Nickelodeon themselves didn't have a copy of it in their archives.
That's kind of funny.
I mean, it makes sense why they wouldn't have it in their archives, because they only aired it once, because it was, like, who the fuck watches Nickelodeon for a horror movie? It was, of course, parents are going to bitch and moan about that.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a Mandela effect thing for me in particular, because I remember watching the single time it aired on Nickelodeon, but I couldn't remember much about it because I didn't record it, and up until like the late 2010s, there was no way to watch it. Yeah, finally this is over. But, there's that... People who, beat the game really quick found that on a second playthrough where you get to keep your weapons from, later in the game, you can actually skip this whole sequence by shooting the bell yourself. Which is genius. Anyway,
a lot of, like, something going on is like looking for the original Jeff the Killer image, like where it came from.
Does the ding mean dinner is done? That's the church bell, my dude, because these are this is a village run by a cult.
Cult of the Lamb.
Not the Cult of the Lamb. They're called the Los Iluminados.
Way to ruin my I'm kidding.
They use more of a snake motif than a lamb motif.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
The ding
And
is
that's
just
the line from the demo that ensured me that this was going to be a good remake. Because they kept the one-liner that set up the tone of the game from the original. I was so worried that they were gonna make it like uber serious and grimdark, but no, they kept the bingo line.
Routes to Condor 1. I've identified a route to the lake. Look for a large windmill. There's a path on the far side of it.
Also, glad to see you here, Shadow Dragon. Sorry about having to cancel last night. You know, it's just one of those things where, like, hey, I've been gone for a while. Oh, wait, everything's fucky. I didn't do any streams over the weekend because I was out of town, because the semester's over at my college, and my sister, who's an actress, had a play last weekend, and
Oh, nice.
our schedules lined up for once, so I could finally attend one of her plays.
That's awesome.
And she did a fantastic job. It was a play called Puffs, which is like a copyright-free parody of Harry Potter.
Oh gosh.
Where it's like the events of the first 7 books, but told from the perspectives of the Hufflepuff house.
That sounds great, honestly.
Like, it's like... basically, it starts out like everyone knows the story of like the boy who lived. This is not his story. This is the story of a boy whose parents died and he went to live with his uncle in rural New Mexico.
What?
And like it's a comedy.
Oh, gotcha. That's what makes sense then.
Yeah. And, like, yeah, it's got some humor that's, like, kind of childish, because it's ultimately a play that's meant to be somewhat it's got some kind of edgier humor in it, but it's not like, you know, something you'd see on Robot Chicken or Saturday Night Live or anything like that, where it's like straight up aimed at adults. It's still mostly aimed at like teenagers. But like if you, it had a lot of jokes in there that no one else in my family except for me understood. Because I'm part of the original generation of Harry Potter fans. So I understood all the stuff like, hey, the headmaster looks different this year, don't you think? Or stuff like it's hard for me to remember specifics because it's like very rapid fire. It's less an overarching narrative and more a series of sketches. And there were also some jokes that didn't quite land, like when they did the Triwizard Tournament and they portrayed the Bulgarian competitor as Ivan Drago from Rocky IV. I'm like, that's a very oddly specific way to portray him that people in your target demographic aren't going to understand. Like, what kid knows who Dolph Lundgren is?
Phenomena.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Phenomena.
Playing this remake made me realize all the stupid shit Leon says in the original Resident Evil 4. Yeah, that's why I love Resident Evil 4 so much. It's so it's like embracing the fact that it's basically a B grade action movie. Like, I prefer Resident Evil when it embraces its campiness rather than when it tries to be uber serious. That's one of my hot takes. My other hot take on Resident Evil is that Ada's a boring character outside of Resident Evil 4, because her whole character is just, no one knows what my goals are, and they've made no attempts to try and explain what those are, so I stopped caring.
Yes, perfect.
Just had to make sure I got all the treasure around here because,
It muy importante.
yeah, because this was the game that introduced the shop. So you have to buy your upgrades. Well, the original Resident Evil 4 was, I should say. Obviously, the remake didn't introduce it.
Yeah.
But the merchant is still in this game, which made me so happy. And they expanded his role a bit. You can go either way, it depends on the game. The tone, that is. Yeah, like, basically, I liked when it comes to, like, Resident Evil 4 being campy, I prefer when it's leaning into it versus, like, Resident Evil 6 being, like, up its own ass. Like, Resident Evil 7, I think, works for what it's trying to do, given its setting. And Resident Evil Village leans into some of that campiness as well, without it being, like, obnoxiously self-aware.
I will return momentarily. I need some more water.
Okay.
Fuck you, Bull. So what if I eat hamburgers? That's no reason to headbutt me. Get mood. Ah, God, you just reminded me of something that I'm not gonna go into because it's a little bit sussy wussy, a little bit sussy baka uwu. Plus, like, it's like roleplay related stuff from a Discord server I'm in. But basically, one of the lines for something that involved one of the characters from Monster Musume, who hasn't appeared in the anime yet, but is my favorite so far from reading the manga, is like the person in question said, she lied as easily as she mooed. You got hit because you didn't move. I like this guy. I like this guy a lot.
Yeah, she's a good person and a pretty good DM, if I do say so myself.
Oh, sorry. I am so sorry. I should have asked. My bad. Everyone get in the pronoun circle. We're going to share what we identify as. You know, every trans person's least favorite thing that cis people do.
Ay.
Speaking as a gender fluid person myself. There is a medallion around here that I'm trying to find so I can shoot it. It'll show up on the map after I take the request. What am I thinking? There we go. The request is right here. Welcome back. Requests are they're basically side quests. Like, they give you different objectives to complete in specific areas, and your reward, when you finish them, you turn them in to the merchant, and he rewards you with spinels, which are what you use to trade for certain items and upgrades. Whereas in the original, spinels were just, like, vendor trash. So our first request that we have from him is to shoot all the blue medallions in this area.
Good.
And there's other stuff like kill all the rats or destroy the graves of the twins because twins are an abomination. Or, you know, stuff like that. What those rats do to you? Hey, it's not me that wants to kill the rats. I'm just doing what I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing the job that nobody wants to. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. I throw trash all over the ring. Then I start eating garbage. Also, I like that you can now disable tripwires without having to shoot them.
Oh yeah, that was the thing that was new when they changed it up, right?
Yeah, they're also a lot stingier with the yellow herbs in this game, but at the same time, this is getting a little ahead, but Ashley doesn't have her own health meter anymore, so you don't have to worry about, like, constantly monitoring her health and wasting herbs on her. Because now it's just like, if she takes a hit, she gets stunned. If she takes another hit while she's stunned, then she dies. You would think that would make it harder, but enemies rarely attack her. It's more so for, like, if she gets caught in the crossfire. And you can instantly heal her by just, like, going up to her and pressing R3. Why I gotta do Mickey like that? Because I am not a fan of Michael Theodore Rat. Thank you very much. I think he's overrated and pretentious.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing.
And for the record, I learned this through my friend Mistress Dove. Canonically, Mickey Mouse's full name is Michael Theodore Mouse.
When did you find that out? Like when was this found out?
I found that out from my friend Mistress Dove, who's a huge Kingdom Hearts fanatic, who's writing her own Kingdom Hearts fanfic. And also, if you check out her YouTube channel, where she does some really good reviews, she's working on a retrospective of reviewing every Kingdom Hearts game. She also did two really well done videos on Scooby-Doo games. And a fantastic video on Berserk for the Sega Dreamcast. Do I know Chuck E. Cheese's full name? Charles Entertainment Cheese.
I don't understand why there's an entertainment as middle name, but whatever, man.
Because it's the saying is entertainment's my middle name. You answered it yourself.
It's stupid. It's so stupid, though.
I mean, they intended for him to be a rat at first. If you look at, like, the history of Chuck E. Cheese. Well, technically, at first they wanted him to be a coyote. But the costume shop that they got the costume to put on the animatronic accidentally gave him a rat costume instead of a coyote costume.
Oh my gosh.
And then, yeah, the first restaurant was called Pizza Time Pizzeria. Yep. And then they were like, we'll make him a rat and name it after the rat. But then, like, someone over on the marketing side was like, hey, you shouldn't name your restaurant after a rat because rats are inherently associated with filth. So they took what was obviously a rat and renamed him to being a mouse.
Yeah, well, rats are notorious for, like, spreading diseases, so...
Ying more spare day this to do. Ying more there bork.
Anybody for Ratatouille?
Hey, if you're obsessed with old animatronics, if you haven't heard of Red Letter Media, there's a non-zero amount of times that the Showbiz Pizza Bear shows up in their Best of the Worst series. Partly because, like, some of the movies that they watch on Best of the Worst had product placement and sponsorships by Showbiz Pizza, which was sort of like a semi-competitor but also semi-business partner to Chuck E. Cheese, but also because, like, if you've seen the famous image of, like, the kid with the Showbiz Pizza Bear wearing a shirt that says Dick the Birthday Boy, that's actually Rich from Red Letter Media at his, like, 7th birthday party at Showbiz Pizza. And they have the original photos, an album of the original photos from that birthday party, that they refused to upload to the internet because that would devalue them. Like, Rich has confirmed, yes, that is him in that photo. And they went to the trouble of recreating the Dick the Birthday Boy shirt for him to wear in one episode when they were filming around his birthday.
I remember Chuck E. Cheese back in the day.
Same here.
Apparently Chuck E. Cheese serves alcohol now.
Sounds about right. Parents need something to do when they're in the middle
Like,
of a really
they serve alcohol, but they don't allow adults or teenagers in unless they're bringing kids with them.
I mean, that also makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want a bunch of drunk frat bros puking up their cheaply made pizzas all over the skee-ball machines.
Wow.
Pony, you and I share a lot of hyperfixations, and that makes me feel validated. I've only been to Chuck E. Cheese like once or twice too. As a kid, I never really went to Chuck E. Cheese apart from like a vague memory I have of like my 3rd or 4th birthday. The only fragment of that memory I have is like a video that played there of Chuck E. Cheese performing a Chuck E. Cheese-ified version of Disco Duck called Disco Chuck.
I remember, this isn't related to Chuck E. Cheese, but I remember when we used to go skating all the time.
Kate's skating rink?
Yeah, it was either Kate's and there was the other one too.
Yeah, like Kate's was the one I went to for like after school activities while I was waiting for my parents to get off work.
Yeah, there was another one too. But
there was another one. Yeah, there was another one that was in like the Huntersville area, but Huntersville Cornelius area, but I can't remember what it was called.
It was like
I have not been there. I haven't been there. I have not been to that whole area since I graduated high school.
Yeah, well, I live in that area still, so. But no one knows, obviously. But I think they shut it down, actually.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I even think Kate's Skate got shut down.
I wouldn't be surprised by that either. That place was fucking ancient.
I know, right?
I know that both of the Blockbusters in that area have obviously shut down, which is depressing. One of them shut down. One of them shut down while I was still there, and I actually bought some stuff from its going out of business sale. It got it got replaced by a mattress firm.
I didn't tell you this, by the way. That Blockbuster, there's still a sign for that Blockbuster out there.
Yeah, but the building's like not in business anymore because there's only one Blockbuster still active in the whole world.
Yeah,
and it's not a
in
mattress store anymore.
And it's in Bend, Oregon, of all places.
Yeah. It's not a mattress store anymore, by the way. It's a brewery now.
I mean, that's better. That's more dignified.
So that Blockbuster's been gone probably for like for a very long time.
Like, that Blockbuster being out of business, like, buying stuff at the going out of business sale was like my graduation gift. Which, you know, kind of a depressing graduation gift. But hey, I got Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock for like $5.
Yeah. But, there's still a sign out in that shopping center. If you go to it, it shows everything that's new and updated, but then like one of the first things you see is Blockbuster Video still.
Like, if there's one thing I miss about living like in the greater Charlotte area, it's having easy access to VisArt Video, which is the best video store I've ever been to.
I've never heard of it.
It's an independent video store that no longer has to worry about potentially going out of business because it's been officially recognized by the city of Charlotte as a like museum type place now.
That's interesting.
Like, they're a video store that has videos on multiple formats from all different genres, decades, countries. Like, pretty much anything you can think of, and they also host independent film screenings from local filmmakers there.
That's neat.
I went there a few times before I moved out of that area, and, like, that's how I got to watch some of my favorite foreign films, like Audition and Ichi the Killer. Basically the works of Takashi Miike, and Cannibal Holocaust, and stuff like that.
I stepped in a bear trap, apparently, from what I just saw. Well, even
yeah, my knife is broken. I don't have any backup knives, so I don't have a good way to set off the bear traps.
Yeah, you don't want to waste your ammo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have so many random memories of like, I don't even know, man.
So would you say that they're random access memories?
I don't know.
That's a Daft Punk joke.
Exactly, I know. I missed it.
Because I was super into Daft Punk during my high school years. I've still got my copy of Discovery with a broken jewel case because I lent it to my friend and she accidentally broke the jewel case.
How dare.
I mean, it's not like Discovery's a hard to find album. What I'm more upset about, and this isn't her fault, it was more so just like not being in a good place at the time, but I lent her my copy of Rise of the Ogre, the official Gorillaz Phase 2 biography, and she lost it. And that book has never been reprinted, and it's very hard to find copies now.
Damn.
There's an audiobook version, but it's incomplete. Like, the audiobook only covers the first 4 chapters.
Why is it incomplete? They just decided it was not worth it anymore?
I don't know. But, like, if you're at all into Gorillaz lore, you need to track down a copy of Rise of the Ogre. Even though you're probably going to spend, like, at least 100 on it. Because it's not just, you know, text. It's also got original illustrations by Jamie Hewlett to help, you know, illustrate what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. You know what just popped into my head?
What?
That book that you bought many years ago, it was the Ashens book.
Oh, yeah, I've still got that book.
You still have it?
I still have it. It's called 50,000 Shades of Grey. And it's just the phrase Shades of Grey printed 50,000 times.
I remember when you first got it, we were just laughing about it. We were at the convention, I think, that you like brought it. Like,
yeah, I distinctly remember when I was living in the CFJ dorms. Like I sat in the lobby of my dorm, pretending to read 50,000 Shades of Grey, and this one girl who's a fan of 50 Shades of Grey comes up to me, and she thinks that this is the next book in the series, and I let her take a look at it, and she gets, like, unreasonably angry, acting like it's my fault that she thought it was real, and she's like, this is such a waste of paper.
I mean, I can see why she probably thought it was a waste of paper, but at the same time, it's a joke book.
I mean, it's no less a waste of paper than the actual 50 Shades of Grey.
I mean, true. She's just mad that she can't read something that she finds to be interesting.
This the place?
I've actually got 2 of Ashen's other books that he's come out with in the intervening years that are like actual books as opposed to just shit posts in novel form. Terrible Old Games You Probably Never Heard Of, and Attack of the Flickering Skeletons, More Terrible Old Games You Probably Never Heard Of. They're actually they're really good books, and you can get them in ebook form. Because for a while, physical copies weren't available in America due to him using, like, a crowdfunding book distribution platform that didn't offer good distribution outside of the UK.
That makes sense.
But now you can get physical copies easy.
What's that noise?
And Jelly Sheba was just right on point with probably what that girl was thinking.
Hey, Sheba, glad you could make it. I'm sorry for your loss, Sheba. Or, your impending loss. If you aren't aware, Discord recently announced that they're getting rid of the 4-digit numbers at the end of everyone's usernames.
That's stupid.
And as a result, Angelic Sheba, my artist for my channel stuff, will be losing the 69 in her username.
No!
Let's
that's
have
the
a
best
moment
part.
let's have a moment of silence to mourn this loss. Okay, moment of silence is over.
Jump into the freaking into the hole.
Yeah, that's something they changed from the original, is that, like, you would hear the banging sound. You would go into the room, there would be a wardrobe, you would open the wardrobe, and Luis was tied up in there.
Nope.
Here, the banging was coming from a Ganado hammering on the floor, and Luis is hidden down here. They also expanded Luis's role a lot in this game, and I love that. You are a pirate!
Maybe just some time. Joder, not this guy. Who are you?
Oh, big guy's here.
The big cheese, as Luis used to call him.
Oh,
He ain't
no.
no big cheese. He's a secondary cheese.
He is not just the big cheese. He is the whole dairy cow. That is how big he is.
Uh-oh, he done been stuck.
All of that was just chapter 1.
Oh,
Jeez
jeez.
Louise.
This whole hour of streaming has just been chapter 1. I'm telling you, they fleshed out a lot of stuff here.
Chapter 6952.
Sacrificial lamb. Receive our most sacred body.
This is one thing that I'm a bit split on in terms of how the remake changes the narrative, is that Sadler doesn't appear in person until, like, the final act of the game, as opposed to being a recurring in-person presence starting as early as the church sequence. Like, instead, he speaks to Leon and Ashley telepathically throughout the game, before finally showing up in person towards the end. Like, narratively, it makes a bit more sense for it to be a 3-act structure, and each act has its own main villain. But it also leads to Sadler not having as much of a role to play, and being a bit more generic, I would say. Because, like, in this game, it's basically like, I want to spread my influence throughout the world, because I am an evil cult leader. Whereas in the original Resident Evil 4, it's like, I want to destroy America.
Saw some men dragging someone to the
Oh my god.
Like, in the original, it's like, I want to destroy America because I am, like, an extremist when it comes to my anti-imperialist beliefs. So, they really, like, toned down a lot of his character.
I love how freaking Leon just they tag team that one.
Yeah, in the original, like, he just, like, kick-flipped himself and knocked him into the wall and broke his neck. This was also a QuickTime event in the original. They got rid of most of the QuickTime events and just made them play out in story or in gameplay.
Good night, Pony.
Oh, he just leaves. He throws the key away.
Night, Pony.
What a jerk.
Glad you could show up.
Oh wow, it's 10:30. I might need to go to bed soon.
So this is
Yeah,
also
working.
another change. This is also another change from the original. Is that in this sequence you have no gear?
The roost. I've located
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like she's being kept in some church.
You have to go find it.
Good news.
Yep.
I heard it from this guy I met. He said his name is Luis Serra. There's something fishy.
They also give Luis more of a backstory in this game. Like in the original, we know that
Make your way to that.
he was some sort of medical researcher who got roped into the experiments with the Las Plagas parasite. Whereas in this game, they establish he also used to work for Umbrella.
Because of course Umbrella's involved somehow.
Yeah, it does. It tries to tie the narrative of Resident Evil 4 more into the events of the previous games, whereas in the original it was more standalone.
Well, apparently Poglings just got a huge new back on Kickstarter.
That's the game that's like a Chow Garden game, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually
I can't
gave
afford
money
to
to
back
it,
that. I can't afford to back that myself. I've also been burned by Kickstarter before. So I'm like hesitant to back it. But hey, if you want new Chow Garden stuff, check out Poglings on Kickstarter. Cause we ain't never getting a new Chow Garden in a Sonic game.
We've got 36 hours left, and it's made $400,000.
Hopefully they spend it better than KG Inafune did on Mighty Number 9. Because he made the brilliant decision to not factor in Kickstarter fees into Mighty Number 9's production budget. So
That's
like
right.
so like the whole Mighty Number 9 made $4 million on Kickstarter. It raised $4 million, but it didn't get $4 million. Because a chunk of that had to go to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So, like, him being the shrewd businessman he is, as Hideki Kamiya famously described him being more of a businessman than a creator, he decided to structure the development of the game as if he didn't have to pay any fees to Kickstarter.
So let me read you some of these goals because I don't know if you looked at it yet.
No, I haven't.
Track by Grant Kirkhope.
Ooh, nice. Frank
Ad break,
Kirkhope is a
guys.
good ad break.
Yeah, which is stupid because the fact is I don't know why I got an ad break. Here's the messed up part: my sub ends today. I get that, but technically it should still be good until midnight.
I don't think that Twitch operates on like not all online services operate with midnight as like the starting point of their day.
Fair enough.
Because
here's another
because you know time zone differences.
Yeah.
Track by T. Lopes.
T Lopes, damn, that's a good get.
Yeah, that was 250K, and they made that long time ago.
If you don't know who T Lopes is the guy that made the Sonic Mania soundtrack.
Yeah, so they got him making a song too.
He also made the soundtrack for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, or whatever that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up was. That was really good.
Yeah. There's a cooking system apparently implemented, an alternate player option, which is a female model. Prismatic Pogling, which is like a really, really like, it's kind of similar to one of those shiny chows.
I'm guessing it's like one of the Jewel Chow. There he is! That's my boy!
It's your boy!
Over here, stranger. They kind of went more South African with him in this game than Cockney. But, you know, still appropriate to make him sound out of place.
Yeah, there's one of those little side quest like things.
Yep, that's the one where I gotta kill all the rats. Rats. We're rats. We're the rats. We pray at night. We stalk at night. We're the rats.
But
The giant rat that makes all of the rules.
Let's see what
yeah.
kind of trouble we can get ourselves into.
yeah, Arikado.
Yes.
I got the when I pledged to Poglings, I only did the base game, but you can also add like things to it for your pledge without having to actually go forward into the actual pledge, you know, maximums and minimums. So I got the base game for Steam, but I also ended up getting the beta
Yeah.
access, so I can easily show you the beta access when it comes out if you want to look at it. And
I would
see
very
if it's
much love to
something.
look at it.
It's basically it's not Resident Evil. I think about Resident Evil more playing.
It's Resident Evil with Chow.
So make a mod of that. I want to see that. I want to see like zombie chows just chasing Leon. But no, it's a combination.
That would only be the third most cursed Sonic thing I've seen today.
It's a combination of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, I believe, is what I'm seeing from the style. Chow Garden, because it has like a lot of Chow Garden inspirations, and then also Animal Crossing. Basically, the Animal Crossing is just catching like fish and bugs, and also being in huge amounts of crippling debt as a child.
So there's an Animal Crossing element to it too.
Yes. And there's pog racing.
To address the chat, have a good night, Shadow Dragon, and 'cause I am sneaky, I am the Rat Man. I go up at night and eat your cheese.
I can't even imagine that in my brain. It's just the chows just come out as zombies. Imagine.
There we go. We have successfully killed 3 rats. The merchant shall be pleased.
Have you guys ever seen the World War Z game?
I know it exists, but I haven't even seen World War Z or read the book, so I had no interest in the game.
Well, imagine like this is just in general like, for people who have seen it. Imagine chows instead of zombies, and they're like climbing up the walls like in a huge like wave of like monsters, and like you can't even dodge them. Because those freaking zombies in like the World War Z are like ridiculously OP. They can climb up things. They can create like giant like towers to try to get to you. It's ridiculous shit, man. And again, zombie chows could probably fly and like chase you down, so you wouldn't really be able to escape them anyways.
All right. We
Sell
got
the
some
worthless
stuff. Yeah, we got some stuff we can sell to the merchant here.
Become rich.
Acquire cash.
Acquire
The
all
merchant
that
has
mad
so
cash
many
money.
more lines of dialogue. I love it.
I bet
Is
you
this
do.
is this a cute game or a horror game? Help.
I think is it the chow
The-
talk?
The Chow Talk, yes. He's talking about a hypothetical for a Chow zombie game, not the actual thing that's on Kickstarter. Don't worry, you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about having your entrails eaten by adorable Chow.
I'm gonna. Is it okay if I post that trailer for Poglings in your chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is something you might find funny. Sammy Classic Sonic fan reacts to Poglings.
You freaking fricks! When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
But yeah, I saw the person who's actually like helping with the development is Chadtronic.
Is who?
He was the one that his name is Chadtronic, I believe.
Oh, the YouTuber Chadtronic.
Yeah, he's the one that's doing the development of Poglings. It's his game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I posted the link in your chat for people who'd like to look at it. But yeah, it's his game. He's been working on it for years. Him and his wife, I believe, he said, were like sitting down with a giant whiteboard at a dinner table and just coming up with ideas.
Nice.
And there's multiple different Pogling types, but they're like not like they're not like Hero, Dark, and all that, but like different like they have like different patterns. It's like Sun, Moon. There's an equivalent of a Chaos Chow in this game too.
I haven't seen much Chadtronic, but there's there's like one intro to one of his videos that lives rent-free in my head. I can't remember which video it was, which makes it a pain in the ass for me, because it's like, I remember this, I just don't remember what video it was in. It's like he stomps into frame and he says, Fee, Fi, Fo, Frick!
Shiva is trying to figure out how to spell chows.
C-H-A-O. It's like chaos without the S. Which is intentional because they're related to chaos.
Chaos basically is a chow.
Yeah, canonically, or at least as far as like what was canon before Sonic Frontiers, Chaos was supposed to be a child that was mutated by the energy of the Chaos Emeralds.
Mm-hmm.
I would go into what the current canon is, but that would be spoilers for my Sonic Frontiers playthrough.
I don't even know what it is. I need to figure that out. I still haven't played much of the new Sonic.
I mean, now's a better time than ever because they've already said that the next update's going to add the spin dash.
Really? We actually get the spin dash?
Yeah, this is going to be the first time we've had the spin dash in a 3D game since Sonic 06, actually.
Yeah, 'cause I remembered it was in at least Adventure.
Yeah. Like, it was rendered kind of redundant by the boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I died.
I know. Here's back.
The next Morio Kishimoto, the director of Sonic Frontiers, confirmed that either the next patch or like one of the upcoming patches for Sonic Frontiers is going to add the spin dash back into the game, which is something that people have been clamoring for since we started seeing gameplay of Sonic Frontiers. Like, the game doesn't need it, but it's welcome. Like, the closest we have in Frontiers launch is the drop dash, but even then, that's like, you can go the whole game without doing the drop dash, because it's not necessary.
Oh shoot, Leon. Leon.
Yeah, they went brutal with, like, every time the enemies hit you. They make, like, the sound design's really chunky, and, they make it really look like Leon's taking some heavy damage.
Leon spin kick attack. Gotta love when the frickin' thing inside the body makes you randomly bug out.
Shit.
Oh, bomb.
Yeah, there's a mother fricker up there. There he is, throwing dynamite at me like some sort of chode.
No,
The
Leon.
fuck? You died?
Yeah.
That's...
He died to a hug.
Yeah.
Bring it in, brother. Dies. But yeah, so Poglings is interesting. I'm honestly, I have some hopes for it.
Would you say that Poglings is Poggers?
Yes.
That's not very poggers.
Ah, rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried.
It's the
I'm
cat's
so happy
pajamas.
that one of the last things he ever recorded before his death was him saying that what Jeffrey Epstein did wasn't very poggers.
It's the cat's pajamas.
I'm also happy that the last thing of his to come out after his death, not counting like archival footage, was him playing God in the season 1 finale of Smiling Friends.
My gosh, man, they don't really give you a break, do
Yeah,
they?
there is like next to no mercy invincibility in this game. So it's definitely harder than the original Resident Evil 4 in the early game, at the very least.
They just blew themselves up.
Yeah. Thankfully, Ganados aren't as resilient as the zombies from the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, because I feel like they kind of went overboard with how tough those zombies were.
Yeah.
Like, if I shoot a zombie in the head at point blank multiple times, I want it to die. I don't want it to pretend to die and then get up like 15 minutes later just to spook me.
Yeah.
Oh, so like the lichens from Resident Evil Village almost.
Well, the Lycans are a lot easier to put down than the zombies in Resident Evil 2 Remake are.
Huh.
Because the Lycans, like, once they're down for good. Resident Evil 2 Remake, there's no real easy way to tell if an enemy's actually dead or not without, like, double tapping. You know, make sure they're dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have
And,
to bail.
Have a good night, my dude.
Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll reach out to you later.
All right. I don't know if I'm
You guys
going to be
have a good
streaming
night.
tomorrow, but I'll keep you guys posted.
I'll still reach out anyways.
All right.
So, I'll see you guys later.
You better reach out to him.
Of course I'm going to. I'll see you guys later.
Laters.
Would you like to?
Stone.
Would you like to know? Would the viewers in chat like to know a cursed Sonic fact that I learned today, courtesy of the Twitter account Semi-Frequent Sonic Facts? I've told you this already, but the chat hasn't heard it. Did you know that rabbits usually don't have just one child when they give birth? They have litters of between 6 to 14. Since Vanilla the rabbit has only one daughter, Cream the rabbit, that implies that she either ate the rest of her children, like rabbits are known to do, or she had all the children have a fight to the death to see who was worthy of being the lone survivor, and Cream was the eventual victor.
Sorry, must have slipped.
Vanilla the rabbit the size of no, you gotta say it like this. She's the size of an average human mother. Fun fact about that dude, Guptil89, is that he actually made a revised version of that top 10 hottest Sonic characters video to try and make it sound less horny and creepy. But no, it didn't gain the notoriety that the original did. And I don't know if it's been archived anywhere. It was like, he rewrote it as the top 10 prettiest Sonic characters. And, rewrote the script entirely.
Ay, ay, ay.
That's actually how I discovered Guptil, was not through the infamous top 10 hottest Sonic characters, but through the prettiest revision.
I remember you showed me the original version.
Yeah, the original version, I think, is the only one that's been archived.
Get in the hole. In the hole. You don't go in the hole. Completely.
Yeah, leave it to Resident Evil to have some fucking top-tier sound design. Some really meaty explosions, some chunky headshots. Weighty impacts, like, goddamn, Capcom's good at sound design. Fun fact, the sound designer for the first handful of Resident Evils, as well as the original Devil May Cry, has a YouTube channel now. He's the guy that does those red bird videos where the bird goes wah, 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 wah. Yeah, same. That guy was the chief sound designer for Resident Evil for a while.
Oh, wow.
It's the kind of random, like, oh, he also did that thing stuff that I am a huge fan of. Like finding out that Tigger from Winnie the Pooh's original voice actor also invented the artificial heart valve.
Huh.
That's true, by the way. What was that sound? Did you just get a cramp or something?
No, I still have everything set up in my dining room, and the chairs are made of metal, so not the most comfortable. Not the most comfortable chairs.
You know, if I hadn't made the mistake of not getting the rifle, this whole section would have been a lot easier. But no, I just had to I can't remember what I bought instead of the rifle. Basically, I did not prioritize my funds correctly, which is why I should not be in charge of budgeting for anything. Like, I'm the dude who will spend $10 on a copy of 50,000 Shades of Grey. That's why you don't let me budget.
I'll have to give myself a promotion.
I mean, you're already a Forge Master. What other promotion do you need?
I mean, I could be the castle's executive treasurer. But again, my idea of saving money is to hoard money, not spend it too much.
JKR is a dragon confirmed.
I mean, you're not that far off here. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there was a picture floating around the internet. I think this was on DeviantArt, where the Batman was a knight, like a literal knight, and the Joker was this giant ass dragon serpent sort of thing.
I love how you refer to him as the Batman. Like an actual character from the comics.
Yeah, right.
Would refer to him. Also, would you say you're a good dragon or a bad dragon?
I mean,
Think very carefully about your answer.
I would probably have to say I am, that's a good question. I have my moments. It really depends. Depends on the time of day. Depends on the day in general.
It was supposed to be a setup for an innuendo because Bad Dragon is a brand of sex toys.
Oh, God. Of course you would try to lead me into that.
Do you think that the characters from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid are a fan of Bad Dragon products? Or do you think that they criticize them for not being realistic?
Welcome. What can I do?
This is the kind of shit that lives rent-free in my head at like 3 in the morning.
Sweet dreams from afar, with a bullet straight through their heads. Go on, take this as well. All yours, stranger. Crossing your T's, dotting your I's. That's the way. Come back anytime.
Alright, now we've got a rifle. And by attaching a scope, now I've got a snipper rifle.
Snipper rifle.
Ever since I saw that episode of Clay World, that's just been the default way that I think about the word sniper rifle. It's like, hey, hey, what are you doing with a snipper rifle? I need you to be my secret snipper.
Take a look. Something's bound to catch your eye.
Like, as far as Clay World goes, Secret Snipper is up there with, both versions of Henry's shotgun are classics, but also, Hot Dog Job is, like, my all-time favorite. Hot Dog Job has, so many quotable moments in it, with, the one that lives rent-free in my head being, the guy... Like, during the part where the hot dog salesman is waiting for customers to show up, and, like, this guy comes walking by the hot dog stand, and he just says, macaroni, 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 put the cheese in the noodles, and what do you get? Macaroni, 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 put the cheese in the noodles, and what do you get? Macaroni, 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 put the cheese in the noodles, and what do you get? Hey, you're selling hot dogs! I love hot dogs. I sure could go for a hot dog. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a hot dog right now. Macaroni, 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 put the cheese in the noodles, and then he just walks off without buying a hot dog.
Jeez.
I would say rewatch Clay World, but don't financially support the guy that made Clay World, because he's known to be kind of a rip-off artist. Like, like he has, he's done a lot of stuff where it's like, hey, you can buy these limited edition Clay World figurines that come with your own Clayman figurine, and they just never ships them out. I would know. It happened to me.
Damn.
God, that's a good headshot sound. I love satisfying headshot sounds. Like, Resident Evil is like top tier as far as my satisfying headshots go. The entire franchise has good, chunky, satisfying sounding headshots. It's like popping a grape. Or like squishing a tomato. Should dress as the Resident Evil 4 merchant as who? The Resident Evil 4 merchant as, you know, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I'm not good at coming up with these crossover cosplay ideas. The only one I've had, which I still plan on doing sometime, is cosplaying Scourge from Robots in Disguise 2001, but with a paint job inspired by the gun truck from Sonic Adventure 2. Also, since I'm still new to the PlayStation 5 stuff, I've got to say that I was skeptical about the adaptive triggers at first, but they really do add to the immersion. If you don't know what that is, like, the L2 and R2 triggers on PS5 controllers have, like, depending on the game, of course, have a bit of resistance to them to make it feel like you have to press them harder. Like, for this game, you have to press the triggers. Like, the triggers are resistant when you have to, like, fire your gun. So it feels more like pulling an actual gun trigger. Or later on when you're driving the boat, it feels more like a throttle. Okay, time to panic, because I'm out of shotgun ammo. I've got another Dr. Salvador chasing after me.
Oh, shit.
Is he dead? Yes, he's dead. I killed him with the Chuck Norris solution. Roundhouse kick.
Oh, God.
All right, you know how I said we would be snooping as usual? We're going to be snooping as usual now, because we've got to snoop our way into the village chief's house.
Let's see, where is that? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ah, there it is.
Snooping as usual, I see.
Perfect. I knew I could count on you. Also, like, as much as people are debating about, like, what casting... Yes.
Oh, what?
As much as people are debating about, like, casting and story stuff for Sonic 3, even though that's not due out for, like, another year or so, my whole thing is I at least want to get a bit in one of these Sonic movies before the franchise ends, whenever it decides to end, where we get to hear Jim Carrey say snooping as usual, I see. Also, have you ever wanted to see a zombie taking a shit?
Oh, no.
Died on the toilet, just like who was it? Didn't Elvis die on the toilet?
Oh.
I think he did. I knew it was like some famous rock star died on the toilet, but I couldn't remember which one.
Old photos.
I was gonna say Jimi Hendrix, but no, Jimi Hendrix died by choking on his own vomit. Which, you know, is a horrifying way to go out. You still there, JKR?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just reading. I was googling how.
Like,
where-
I don't know if he actually died on the toilet, but like that's the common story that everyone tells.
Yeah,
as like
apparently
the capstone to how pathetic Elvis's later career was.
Yeah, apparently they say that it's actually true, sort of. So I'm like, I've never heard that until today. So
It's like my guess is it's sort of like the thing with Lou Costello dying while trying to drink a strawberry smoothie, where like it's not entirely true. It's just a thing that people think is true because it sounds accurate.
Right.
Speaking of which, can you bring up that command for me?
Yep, I was just about to do it.
So we can illustrate to the audience the most eloquent death scene in film history.
Hey, Eddie. I had a lot of
strawberry malteds in my life.
Of all of them I ever had. Boy, Eddie, this one's
the best.
I'll say, fuck.
Right on cue.
Here, clip that.
Clip that, please.
That's comedy gold right there.
Actually got my therapist into Dubus Goobus, which is one of the things I'm most proud of. You know, of all the things you could get your therapist into, get them into, like, wholesome Winnie the Pooh parodies.
Be right back. I'm gonna grab myself a drink.
All right. I'll be right here fumbling around with this puzzle, because I never remember exactly how it's supposed to go. Oh, there we go. I think. We almost got it. There we go. I do like that they included, like, actual files for you to discover in the remake that give you a little peek into what life was like in the village before the cult showed up and ruined everything.
I'm back.
Welcome back. But yeah, like, don't you think it's a neat detail that they added some, like, discoverable diaries and stuff in this remake that give you a little peek into what life was like before the cult took over this area?
It's actually a nice touch.
Yeah. Like, it makes me think of, like, you know, Jonestown wasn't always a horrible place run by an insane cult leader. I know that's incredibly dark, and that's as far as I'm gonna go with that. There he is! He bequeaths to you a boot to the head.
The head. Oh, I love that joke.
Blood has accepted the gift.
As some would say, harder, Daddy.
So, I know a lot of people are split on Ada in this remake, both her design and her voice actress. I like the design, I don't like the performance of her voice actress, but I think that has more to do with the direction. Because, like, in this one, they tried to play her up as, like, more stoic and cold, as opposed to, you know, playfully flirtatious like she was in the original Resident Evil 4.
Condor 1, I've got that intel you requested on Louis Serra. It seems he used to be a researcher for Umbrella.
Umbrella? I should have left him in that bag to rot.
I'm sending you the details. Take a look, but Baby Eagle is your priority.
Copy that. Making my way to the church. Condor 1, out.
This is going to show, like, what kind of internet brain rot I have, but I can't take the phrase copy that seriously because of that EB Games commercial that became a meme.
Huh.
Where, like, it was an EB Games Canada commercial for, like, a promotion they were doing with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And, like, it's these two guys dressed up in, like, tactical military gear racing each other to get their copies of Advanced Warfare before each other. And then, like, they're greeted by the most stoned-sounding EB Games employee who also has, like, a distractingly long neck. And he's like, whoa, hey, guys, welcome to EB Games. And then they, like, say, what game they want, and then he just says, "Copy that."
Third time tonight, I've accidentally unplugged my headphones. Oops.
Hey, it could be worse. You could be like me and lose a pair of headphones by accidentally unfolding a sleeper sofa on top of them.
Ooh.
That happened to me once with a $50 Turtle Beach headset.
Damn.
You too, huh?
Here's where we get to rescue the dog.
And that poor doggo.
Go on, buddy. Who's a good boy?
Take care of yourself, buddy.
He is the goodest of boys.
I've never actually played Resident Evil 4, so let me ask you this. Does the dog actually come back to help later in the game?
Yes, that's why you want to save him. Technically, it's optional, but you're really heavily encouraged to save him.
I mean, it's the morally right thing to do, so...
Like, not just because it's the morally right thing to do, but because he helps you out in a later boss fight.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
That's why I say he's the goodest boy. Alright, we're heading for the old church now, which is where Ashley's being held. Because remember, this whole reason we're here is to rescue Ashley, the daughter of the president.
Oh, yeah.
So, to quote a famous YouTube poop, go to the church and ask God to fuck you. Timber! Oh, and speaking of good boys, here's some bad boys.
Ugh. Oh, funny thing is, when you said timber, that actually reminded me of something that happened on the trip I was on last week.
Yeah?
Me and a few other of my classmates were up on this, rope course. It was like, basically a high rope course where it's like you're strapped into this whole harness and everything. And you're trying to traverse this, you've got bridges made of ropes. You've got you're perfectly safe, but still, it's like the concept is to try and work your, do what you can to get across and everything. Well, I'm standing up there on one of the highest platforms, just waiting around, just kind of watching everything go by. And as I'm talking to people around me, a tree fell, literally fell within 100 feet of me, and I was like, timber!
That makes me think of something. It wasn't a tree that fell, but something that happened at my first high school play. This is gonna sound like an everybody clap moment, but literally everybody clapped. It was one of the last days of the play because we only did one weekend run of the play. It was Our Town, which is like a common play for like community theater in high school, we had ladders as part of our set, and it was after the show. My dad, my stepmom, and my cousins, including Miss Palindrome. I haven't gotten to the part where they clapped yet. Hold your applause. They were all, like, meeting me after the show to congratulate me on a good performance. My dad is standing near where one of the ladders is propped up, but wasn't, like, supported very well. So the ladder falls, and it's gonna land on him. And then Miss Palindrome, acting with cat-like reflexes, my cousin, who I've had on stream once before, catches the ladder before it can hit him. And then everyone starts applauding once they see that.
Damn. You know, one of these days, Arikado, I would actually like to meet Palindrome in person, because we've never...
I haven't seen her in person in a long time, so I would love to do that sometime sooner or later. I live closer to her now, so I could visit her more often. It's more so about, like, finding time when she's available.
Right.
Because she is very busy.
Oh, yeah.
That's also why I haven't been able to have her on stream. She just hasn't had the time.
Makes sense.
Don't say that my cousin gets all of your claps, because that sounds like you want to clap my cousin.
No.
And I am not allowing that.
When you say it out loud, that puts more context into it for me. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Certified own yo moment.
Okay, that was perfect timing.
I missed a treasure down there, and it's hard to navigate down there. So let's go and get it.
It's in the hole.
It came from the hole.
I'm more worried about the space octopus.
Where's the cat put in the hole? What's that? That's the orb. Where'd the orb come from? Came from the hole. Okay, so it's through here. Okay. I read the map wrong, which is why you shouldn't have me be your navigator. I shouldn't be a treasurer, and I shouldn't be a navigator. There we go, we got a snack. We can eat the snack to restore health, but there's also a side quest in this section that involves selling 4 snacks to the merchant.
Yes. So you said we don't want you as a navigator, right?
Yes.
So what you're saying is you don't want us to be having you crawl around in a swamp until you become a suitcase.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Honk.
That was a joke. Holy shit.
That is a large skull.
Damn. I
would make a joke about that, but I feel like that would be ableist. He can't help it. He's just big boned.
Oh God.
There you go. Hello there, matey.
Welcome. I got something new for you.
See.
Thank you.
I'm never going to buy the bolt thrower because I just don't like the bolt thrower. It's basically like it's a less powerful gun, but you can retrieve the ammo from it after you fire it. But I don't like the bolt thrower, so we will not be buying that during any of these streams. As much as the game tries to encourage you to buy the bolt thrower, we shall not submit to buying the bolt thrower.
We're starting to get an idea of your tastes, friend. Got us pleasant travels.
A dear friend of mine is gravely ill, and I'd very much like to treat them to some delicious vipers before they pass. Is their snake charmer willing to lend a hand? So yeah, we gotta sell 4 vipers. And they can often be found inside certain crates, but there's also a, like, fish farm area you can go to that has vipers swimming in the water. And you can catch them there, too. Or you can just eat the vipers, and they restore your health. There we go. We've gotten to the church. Now we need to go to the church and ask God to forgive you.
Here's the church. There's the steeple. Open the doors and see all the people.
No need to come over here, Ganados. Just a, that was not the sound of gunfire you heard. I promise.
You didn't hear gunfire. We didn't hear gunfire.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
We want to go home and rethink our life. I mean, as boring as Attack of the Clones was, that line will never get old in my brain.
Yeah. Remember, Obi-Wan Kenobi does not endorse smoking. That's basically what death sticks are, right? They're basically the Star Wars version of cigarettes.
Worse, from what I understand.
Except they also get you like obscenely high.
Yeah.
Like, not the fun kind of high either.
Right. Like memes
they're called
have,
death sticks for a reason.
Yeah, the memes for that have portrayed them more as like the good kind of high, but I'm like, they're called death sticks. Why would you call them that if it's a good time?
Condor 1 to roost. The church is sealed up.
And Baby Eagle?
Yo, the 3 of us need to watch Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I'll do you one better. The 3 of us need to watch Love on a Leash.
I see.
Oh no, I'm...
They'd want to do
Love on the Leash. I can't say I've heard of that, but I'm actually intrigued.
It's a very, like, underground, so bad it's good movie. I say underground as in, like, it's got a very small cult following, but it's not nearly as well known as stuff like The Room or Plan 9. It's a super low budget direct-to-video movie that's supposed to be a, like, romantic dramedy about a man who was turned into a dog, and the only way for him to be turned back into a human is to find a woman to fall in love with him, but it has to be true love because he was turned into a dog for being a womanizer.
Oh boy.
And then, like, you think that's just gonna be the plot of the movie, but like halfway through, he gets the woman to love him. Oh, and the dog can talk, but only to the audience. And like the guy voicing him is clearly just taking the piss out of the really bad script. And he's gone on record saying that he improvised a lot of his lines. And the director just like didn't try to get him to do any retakes that were more serious because she was completely inept at what she was doing. Yeah, it's basically 100 Deeds for Eddie McDowd, except it actually has an ending. And it's a lot more horny.
Of course.
But like, you think that like the plot basically ends about halfway through the movie, and then they realize this isn't long enough to make a full feature-length movie. So what ends up happening is like, okay, I half grant your humanity back to you because you're still only getting her to love you so you can be a human again. So you can be human again, but only at night.
Okay.
And what's funny is that, like, the guy who plays the human version of the dog is very clearly not the same guy who does the voice of the dog. Because, like, the guy who plays the human version of the dog is, like, your standard, like, low-rent hunky dude.
Right.
Whereas the guy that voices the dog is a stand-up, is, like, he's sort of like a Jack Blackish stand-up comedian in real life. Like, it's the difference between, like, the way he acts is different, too. Which is another way you can tell it's not the same person. It's like, when he's a dog, it's like, woman asks him what he thinks of her dress, and he's like, you wear a lot of green. Why do you have so much green? It's weird. Just like shitting on her all the time for like living in a greenhouse and wearing nothing but green clothes and stuff like that.
Oh boy.
And then when he's a human, it's like, I love you so much. You mean everything to me.
Jeez. Sounds like this dog's got a split personality.
I mean, it's more so because, like I said, the director was completely incompetent.
Yeah.
And also, like, it was directed by a woman from China who moved to the LA area. So you got sort of the Tommy Wiseau-ish element to it, where you got, like, the wacky foreigner who doesn't quite understand American customs.
Yeah.
And, like, an interview with the guy who voices the dog explains a lot of the weird, like, makeup and other kind of decisions in it, like how through most of the movie the woman has, like, really bad acne that's obviously added as a makeup effect. But, like, why would you want that for, you know, your beautiful lead actress?
Right.
Why would you deliberately want to give her acne? And apparently the director's thought process was, when you're horny and you haven't gotten laid in a long time, you start developing acne.
The fuck?
I don't know either. Also, apparently it was funded by a church, and she promised that it was going to be a story about finding love through the power of Jesus, and then she showed the final product to the church, and they got pissed at her.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Right?
Because there is nothing Jesus-y about this movie.
Nope.
Also, apparently, there's two different cuts of Love on a Leash. One that has a soundtrack, and one that just has awkward silence.
Oh, jeez.
And it depends on whether you watch it on Amazon or whether you buy the DVD.
Which one is which?
I don't know. But like, I found out about this because of a YouTuber called Ralph the Movie Maker. And, like, he was the one who, like, uncovered this movie and made it kind of a meme in a very small community. But, like, he reviewed the version that didn't have a soundtrack. So you get, like, moments where the dog is singing to where there's supposed to be backing music, but there's no music. It's like I know this is a deep cut as far as my streams go, but sort of like Ride to Hell Retribution, where there's scenes that have absolutely no sound in them, except for like ambient background noise, so it just sounds really awkward. I need to get back to Ride to Hell sometime, because I found a way to get the DLC, so technically I'm not done with that game yet.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. I have such wonderful things to show you.
Back off, Pinhead.
One of my favorite things, speaking of Hellraiser, one of my favorite things that I've seen about the Hellraiser series is that even though the series was started by the underrated horror genius, Clive Barker, he will be the first to tell you that he had nothing to do with the sequels past Hellraiser 2.
Honestly, would not surprise me.
He was happy to attach his name to the terrible third-person shooter Clive Barker's Jericho, but he does not want to be mistakenly associated with Hellraiser Hellworld or Hellraiser Revelations. And, like, apparently the reason that there's so many Hellraiser sequels and all of them are absolute shit is because they're all basically ashcan copies.
Oh boy.
You know what an ashcan copy is, right?
I honestly don't.
It's a term that originates from the early days of the comic book industry, but it's been broadened to expand to other forms of media as well. It refers to, like, when you produce something extremely shittily and quickly without the intention of a ton of people being able to see it, just so you can hold on to the copyright for longer. It was very common in early days of the comic industry, where due to how copyright was written at the time, like, when new characters were being created, if the publisher didn't want to, like, actually do a full series with a character, but they didn't want to lose the copyright in case they decided to do something with it later, just so the creator of that character wouldn't be able to shop it around to other companies, they would print a single issue and then just throw it straight in the trash, which at the time was called an ashcan.
Oh, okay.
That's where the term ashcan copy comes from. They would make they would make like really cheap one issue comics and just throw them straight in the trash without distributing them, just so they could say that they printed something with that IP, that so they then thereby own it.
Oh boy.
A more famous example is the 1990s Fantastic Four movie, where that movie was never released theatrically or on video. It was never intended to. It was just made very quickly and cheaply by the film studio as a way to retain their copyright on Fantastic Four for a little longer.
Yeah.
But you could still watch it through bootlegs.
Nice.
Here's the funny thing about the 90s Fantastic Four movie. People love to shit on it for how, like, cheesy and cheaply made it is, but low-key, it's the most accurate version of Fantastic Four we've ever gotten on film. Like, yeah, the special effects are shit, and it has some shitty original characters, and Doctor Doom is completely unintelligible because they didn't dub over his voice, so you just get the on-camera audio of him, where his voice is completely muffled by his mask. But it's still, like, more accurate in tone than any of the other movies.
What you see is what I've got. Dazzled, are you? Our craftsmanship demand come back anytime.
All right, while we're here, because I'm thinking of wrapping things up soon, because I can tell you are getting tired.
Yeah, I've been up since like 5:30 this morning.
I've been up pretty early, too, because I had to get some furniture replaced. And they ended up delivering it earlier than I anticipated. We are going to end things off with the shooting gallery.
Ooh.
Which is an optional thing that gets you charms, which you can equip to your suitcase to give you passive bonuses.
Cool.
What you have to do is shoot the pirates and avoid shooting the sailors.
Seems simple enough.
Yeah, this is that. I don't think you'll ever find a better time to play that than now.
Right?
All right, so as you complete challenges in the shooting gallery, you earn tokens. Gold tokens and silver tokens, depending on the difficulty level of the challenge. Gold tokens increase the chance of getting a rare keychain from the gacha machine here. There we go. We got Don Esteban, plus 15% shotgun shells craft bonus frequency. You can equip up to 3 charms at a time.
Oh.
And they have different courses for different weapons. And there are multiple shooting galleries throughout the game that have different, increasingly difficult courses. There we go. Finally getting to use the snipper rifle. I'm pretty sure Shiba's the artist here. There we go. There we go. I impressed the merchant. Give it a spin. See what we get. Ooh, we got a rare one. Leon with handgun. 30% off knife repairs. Hell yeah!
Nice.
takes over, I suppose.
Alright, so now we can customize our case and add those charms. Like I said, we can equip up to 3. I only have 2 right now. But now we get plus 15% shotgun shell craft bonus frequency, which means, like, when I'm crafting shotgun shells, there's a plus 15% chance that I'll craft some extra ones on top of what I'm supposed to get. And 30% off anytime I need my knife repaired, as long as I have this charm equipped on my briefcase.
Nice.
All right, so we're going to end it here. Let's see. We're going to raid Orange's Borange, who's streaming Banjo-Kazooie.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Thank you to both of my co-hosts for joining on such short notice. Thank you to the wonderful chatters who kept me very much entertained, and I shall see you next time. Until then, unpleasant dreams.
Nighty-night.
Hey, it's not green for once.
Hey!